What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and real quick, thank you so much. At the time of this recording, we crossed 15K subs. Big moment for me, so thank you so much for helping me grow, and I hope we continue to do so. Also, just quick announcements, obviously. If you want a video on this channel or on my second channel, The Coffee Shop, which is stuff like versus battles, comics, Star Wars, manga. On this channel, you could also get video slots on things like the Jobber series, Goon series, and Worst Places to Live. Check out the prices on the screen. Also, 20% off if you use the code, so definitely check that out. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So, of course, today, I put out a poll either yesterday or 2 days ago on which character to do. I wanted to give a black character shine on MLK Day, but unfortunately, I had computer issues yesterday, so I couldn't upload at the time. But today, we're good to go, and the poll winner was by far Spawn. So we're going to do Spawn. Now, this is going to be unique among my Goon videos, because this will actually be, for the most part, chronological order, because when I read Spawn, all my scans and notes were taken in that order, so it's a lot easier to organize the Goon videos this way. So he will be getting a multi-part series. If you want to see the next parts, you got to run the likes up. Let's get the next part to 600 likes, and I'll drop part 2. But anyways, if you're a Spawn fan, I hope you enjoy this, and without further ado, let's begin. So, as a Goon video, we're not going to cover all his L's and stuff like that. Which in the beginnings of Spawn, I'm not gonna lie, he had several, so keep that in mind as we skip through. But first moment we're gonna talk about is when he comes back after getting folded in Botswana. He was a former soldier that was betrayed and killed. He was, well, technically a mercenary. And even with no clue of what's going on, like he came back tripping balls because he had no idea what he was or what was going on. He still pulled up on random thugs and completely folded them. Next, several moments later in the comics, he has this main torturer, right? It's this transcendental demon that comes down, usually turns into a fat slob of a clown named the Violator, and absolutely harasses Spawn as he tries to, I guess, help get him ready for the war against Heaven. And at one point, he stands up to Violator. Of course, Violator rips his heart out and demolishes him, but Spawn gets back up anyway. And low-key, the fact that he got up after getting his heart ripped out had Violator a little shook, because he's like, yo, a Spawn of your level should not be able to do that shit. But Spawn was pissed and was tired of the trolling. So he did, the fact that he had such a powerful character at that time with context like Violator, shook with his potential, was pretty impressive. Next, not gonna lie, just the overall idea of what he's supposed to become is a Goon moment in itself. The reason for that is, essentially, he's recruited as a Hellspawn because he's a unique dude that is thought to be capable of, once he fully masters his power, hacks, abilities, and commitment to the mission, he's capable of bringing war against Heaven and God himself. So just the fact that the plan is for him to pull up on God, like that's what he's projected to be, that's a crazy ass career projection. Like, imagine when you go to like career day, or like what you're gonna be when you grow up. It's like the dude that pulled up on God. That's what Spawn was. Like off rip, that was the goal for him. So in my opinion, that in itself is a Goon moment. Next was one of the most satisfactory vibe checks ever in comics. This is with Billy Kinkade. Now, at this point in the comics, Billy Kinkade is this serial killer. He's killed tons of children, including boys and girls. And it builds up to he's eventually going to try and kidnap and kill Spawn's kid, or his wife's kid from his former life as Al Simmons. And of course, Spawn's not going for that shit. So what's Spawn do? He tracks down Billy before he could do anything to the girl and flays him alive. Literally shreds him and puts on him, like inscribes on him, something like, he made boys scream, he made girls scream, so I made him scream and scream and scream. He just absolutely violated and humiliated Billy for the piece of shit he was. So shout out to Spawn for one of the best vibe checks in history. Next, Spawn made the block so hot. So this, I think the video is probably going to be titled like Spawn being the champion of hobos for X amount of minutes, but that's what he was early on. Like, he hung out with the hobos, he was literally homeless, and those were the homies, right? Well, the block got so hot with the homeless because he had to protect them and fight all the gang and crimes and shit, that the mob didn't like that shit. They're like, yo, we need to do something about it. So they elect to bring in Overkill to deal with him. Overkill is like supposed to be more dangerous than any of the military weapons and stuff like that, or any of the military units. They're bringing that in for homeless Spawn. So you're like, oh shit, the big guns, or at least, you know, at the time it's big guns. Obviously it gets way crazier. Are being brought out just to kill a homeless demon. That's crazy. And because Spawn didn't want to waste full power, like, because at the time he didn't have good energy management and he didn't want to deplete himself a lot, he elected to, like, at first not really fight back against Overkill. But then he's like, yo, damn that, I'm spinning the block. So what's he do? He goes and breaks into this military compound and steal, I think it was a military compound. It might have just been a weapons depot, but regardless, he steals a shit ton of military grade weapons. And he's like, yeah, time to spin the block. If you don't know, Al Simmons, I did mention he was a mercenary. He was a very celebrated mercenary. Like, he was very dangerous. So him getting a shit ton of weapons is not good for his ops. So of course he obtains all these weapons and he's like, yep, time to pull up. And that's exactly what he does. He runs the rematch, cashes in the money in the bank clause, and pulls up on Overkill. Absolutely beats the shit out of Overkill. Overkill did not stand a chance. Spawn is simply too saucy when it comes to military weapons and tactics. And even while holding back his power, he beat the shit out of Overkill. Now, next was a problem that resulted with him being a Hellspawn. Obviously, Heaven's not going to like that. As a result, they sent a Spawn killer, Angela. She's actually bodied Hellspawns before. She was supposed to body Spawn, but Spawn wasn't going for that shit. Accidentally BFR'd her. They, like, teleported, and when they did, he was able to basically put the hands on her in purgatory and scared the shit out of her. So the fact that he was accidentally beating the shit out of, you know, a Spawn Slayer is absolutely crazy. Next is one of the wildest sequence of events, if you haven't read Spawn, that you will see. So definitely strap in for this one. But this is his encounter with Marvel and DC heroes. That's right. He stumbles upon what appears to be a prison full of Marvel and DC iconic heroes that are trapped inside them. I mean, we see the arms of characters like Hulk, Spider-Man, Juggernaut, Batman, Wolverine, all these characters. And we see some more X-Men as well. And instinctively, my boy Spawn gets the blasting. He's like, yo, my suit doesn't like this shit. I don't like this shit. This is a weird kind of pressure. Gets the blast, and immediately, it was kind of funny. But after doing that, he eventually runs into an evil-looking Superman. Superman, in discussion with Spawn, basically starts talking like, yo, you're gonna be the GOAT of comics. Like, we're gonna be gone. We're gonna be irrelevant. You are gonna be the man. And that's when we see, for like a brief amount of time, Spawn is able to like merge with existence, see how everything is, how everything is gonna pan out. Narratively, he sees everything. And at one point, Spawn is shown that Marvel and DC heroes suck because they're basically all abused by the writers that make them. Like, the writers constantly recycle characters. They don't all talk about characters and keep them consistent or fluid. Basically shitting on the inconsistent power scaling of comic books, don't at me. But he's also, of course, referencing how a lot of characters have different narratives that change and kind of make the character too diluted over time. And this was McFarlane, the writer of Spawn's, way of like shitting on both the major companies and saying like they ruin their own product. But he goes on to basically say, yo, Spawn sees all this and Spawn knows he will be the GOAT because he will never be sold out or diluted by other writers. Of course, this is a risky claim because at some point a Spawn story can end up trash. But, you know, he's confident. Gotta appreciate the confidence. And he's like, yo, Spawn will be GOATed forever. So shout out to Spawn for narratively being written to be better than all the other heroes. Next, a gang war occurs on the turf that is where all Spawn's homeless friends live, as well as himself. This is a crazy bunch that's constantly dying, getting mugged, getting beat up for either being related to Spawn or just being in a horrible part of town. And this gang war puts them in jeopardy. So, of course, the boy Spawn's not having it. He pulls up not only on one gang, but both. Starts mind hacking them, fear hacking, attacking, all this shit. He's not going for it, and he doesn't want anyone endangering his homeless homies. Don't pull up on the friends of Spawn. He's gonna start blasting immediately. No doubt about it. Next, he gets turned with his hobo homies, right? Like, there's some bad shit going on. Of course, there's characters like Wynn that are scheming. And they're part of the reason he's dead or had died as Al Simmons. Like, his home life is in jeopardy. I meant jeopardy, of course. His wife's getting piped down. Like, it's a whole lot of bad shit for Spawn to deal with. And at this point, he's just getting fucked up with the boys, right? One of the hobos accidentally tries to put on the mask of Spawn. Immediately almost starts dying. That's right, Spawn accidentally almost killed one of his homies. That's just how his suit rolls. It swings regardless. Definitely a Goon moment. During this time, like getting turned with the gang, being happy, you know, trying to cheer up all this shit, he realizes his brain had been like semantical this whole time. He had been imagining his killer in a church, but that's not the truth. His killer, his name was Chapel. That's what it was. So he had been wrong that whole time. He's like, yo, I'm pulling up on Chapel. He needs to take this L immediately. Finds the Youngblood assassin gang that he's a part of. Pulls up immediately on him. And kidnaps him, BFRs him to Botswana, where, of course, Al Simmons was gunned down. And he squares off with Chapel, and he's like, yo, let's go toe-to-toe, man-to-man. I won't use my hacks. We can just get it popping. And beats the shit out of Chapel. After beating the shit out of Chapel, he leaves his face, like, morphed and permanently maimed to resemble how he looked when he put on makeup to go and kill Al back in the day. It was definitely a wild moment as he beat the shit out of Chapel. Next, we see that the Angels respect Spawn's game now, right? They're like, yo, not gonna lie, this dude's pretty strong, pretty powerful. We're not gonna have to pull up with regular shit. We gotta be strong with it. So they elect to pull up with a brand new created player. That's right, they literally created a player, an angelic warrior, to pull up on Spawn. This was created by infusing Heavenly Light with Jason Wynn, the psychopath I referred to earlier, and he became anti-Spawn. Anti-Spawn proceeded to pull up on Spawn. So Spawn's so clouded at this point, while still homeless, that he's forcing Heaven to make creative players to fight him. That's crazy. Hit the like button for my boy Spawn. That is absolutely wild. But anyways, he survives this hit from heaven. Despite the prep in the created player, he pulls up on Spawn, starts blasting with Spawn's like, damn that, does the race. But then Anti-Spawn's like, yo, I can track you through all of time and space. And Spawn's like, oh shit, gets out of there anyway and survives. Actually survived a prep time hit from heaven, which is absolutely crazy. After this, he proceeds to hang out with Houdini, which is a goon moment in itself, because that boy Houdini is low-key out-reversal. Like, literally, Houdini comes from metaphysical, extra-dimensional realms. Find out wild things about Spawn and his powers at this point. Like, for example, magic is basically truth manipulation and reality warping. So, essentially, you just literally trick the universe and creation into believing whatever you're doing. Whole bunch of wild shit, and it's a massive amp for my boy Spawn, as the streets are about to get even more hectic for him. Next and final moment of the video, make sure to smash the like button if you want to see the next part of the story and you want to see what's to come for Spawn and his goon moments. But anyway, we're going to finish off with the build up to the rematch with Overkill. So the Mafia's pissed, right? They're like, yo, Spawn's hard to deal with. He's a menace in the streets. He'll pop our goons if he catches them slipping, all this shit. So they rebuild Overkill into Overtkill. Eventually, Overtkill has Terry pinned down and is going to fold him. Terry, of course, is the dude that's boning Spawn's former wife. If you didn't know, it's hashtag it's complicated. But he's not a bad dude, and he is trying to bust Jason Wynn, who, of course, is a bad guy that got Simmons killed. So he pulls up and saves Terry and is like, alright, bitch, we can run the rematch, and squares up with Overtkill. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for part 1 of Spawn being the champion of hobos and his Goon Moments video series in general. Thank you guys for the support and showing the love and getting me to 15K. I look forward to growing with you guys further. And like I said, if you want to purchase a video slot, reach out on Discord. As well as if you just want something popular to be voted on, comment down below. And the most popular choices will be made into videos. But thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons. I will see y'all later. Peace.